Welcome to 20's Unfiltered, where two college students tell you all things about young adulthood, the good, the bad, and the chaotic. I'm Jadyn Cohee.
And I'm Sophia Metzner, and today we'll be sharing our stories, struggles, and advice that no one tells you. From study sessions to late nights out, we'll be giving you the true unfiltered advice.
So grab your coffee, it's probably your third one, and let's dive into our first episode of 20's Unfiltered.
For some background, we made this podcast in order to share ways to transition from college life to a more from high school and trying to figure that out, and just advice that no one is able to tell you and that we can share with you.
Yeah, because it's scary. I mean, moving off from wherever you're from, even if you're still living with your parents, it's scary. And there's not really a textbook way in order to how to go about it. So we want to be here. I mean, let's give you the truth. Let's keep it real in here. What is really going on when you transition into young adulthood? And I think a good first topic for that is Greek life, which is what we'll be diving into today, because it's something that makes up a lot of a college experience. It's made up a lot of mine because I am in a sorority, and it depends on what school you go to. Like in SEC school, Lord knows they have a lot when it comes to Greek life. Miami, it's, you know, a little bit in between, but whether you're in it or not, you know what's going on with it. So it creates very typical, you know, college experience.
And thankfully, we have a lot of different perspectives, as I am not in a sorority and did not rush, and JJ is in a sorority. And my sister also is in an SEC school with a huge sorority life and their own sorority house. So we come from a lot of different perspectives and a lot of ways that we can share with you guys about Greek life and everything in between of being in a sorority, not being a sorority, and of course, the big frat life that we have at the University of Miami.
Wait, what school does your sister go to?
She goes to Texas A&M.
Oh, good luck to her. I know that recruitment process was crazy.
Yes.
It was crazy for me. I was actually losing my mind. I got so sick. If you ask anyone who did sorority recruitment, you get so sick. You don't realize you're going to. Like, there are antibodies that are killing you that you didn't know could kill you. Like, it was so insane, but you're just talking to so many people. But it was actually a really cool experience at the end of the day. Like, it made me feel a lot of pride in ways that I didn't know I could feel pride for a sorority. So it was cool. And we have a few talking points in our magical green bag.
Yes.
Very fashionable here. So we got a few. We're very much giving Wicked with the colors right now.
Yes, of
But
course.
we got some good questions lined up, so I'll let you do the honors.
All right. So let's pick out. All right, our first question of today is, what do you think of the frats and frat life at the University of Miami? This will be a fun one.
Well, it's interesting. You know, like when you're in a sorority, you have to interact with the frats. I mean, not have to. I mean, it's a fun relationship that you get to have with them. You do like philanthropy stuff to raise money for the organizations that you care about. So like that's really cool. You know, you have like parties and stuff like that together, which is also really cool. I have mixed opinions because just like any group, I have met men in fraternities who are really nice and very sweet. I've also met some that are very much not sweet, and they like to compare the different sororities and different women against each other, which I'm not about. So I just keep to myself. I enjoy spending time with my girls. So I just kind of keep to myself a little bit. But I have definitely like different views based on my experience with each one. But what about you?
That's an interesting take. I do want to say, like, I feel like the guys that are in frats are more inclined to ask, like, what sorority the girls are in and kind of, like, do a little social hierarchy in that. Yeah. But I will say at the University of Miami, we have a very unique system where girls don't really have to be in sororities to go to frats. I know my friends go to like the University of Southern California, and you have to be in a sorority in order to mix with the frats. So it is kind of interesting that in this university, they do make that a little bit different. But there have been frat parties where they will be asking if you are in one of the so-and-so top sororities in order to get in, and that is kind of a drawback of that, and a drawback of the guys just thinking that they need to mix with a certain sorority. Yeah. And as a girl that is not in a sorority, I do find it pretty easy, I guess, to go with my friends. Like, if you're a girl, they don't really care as much to check what sorority you're in, or if you want to go with your friends that are in a specific sorority, then they kind of just let you in and welcome you in. But I will say there has been some very unique experiences at the fraternities, and even then there's a hierarchy within the fraternities where some just think they are a little bit better if they're in one of the so-and-so top fraternities, or if they have a house on campus, like Pike has that giant house on campus.
So I can see a little bit of like an ego and a little judgment sometimes.
For sure,
but at the end of the day, like as I said, I keep to myself, so I don't care too much. But I mean, if you are in a sorority where like you have like a brother fraternity, you have one that you mix well with, you do a lot of events with. So like mine has like 2 in particular we have really good relationships with. They'll be very protective of you, like a big brotherly way. I don't think people realize that. Like if you do have that good relationship, like there was one time I was at an event and my little needed water, and I go up to someone, I'm like, hey, like my little just get some water? And this one guy's like, we don't have any more. And the president comes over, like storming over, and is like, you better get her some water. Like he is like intimidating this poor like 18-year-old kid, because he's like, you better get that girl some water. And he's like, okay. But yeah, like they'll take care of you if you have that good relationship with them.
That reminds me of in high school, I like used to mix with like the all boys school and like the all girls school would mix. So it's kind of like that thing where you like the certain all boys school would mix with the certain all girls school, and they would kind of just like get together and you would meet the same guys, and they would be like pretty protective over the girls that they knew. But that's like a very positive viewpoint I've never actually heard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care about them too much. I like myself. I like my girls. So just like in life, you have haters. So I just keep it all out. I like where I'm at, but that's a good way to start off the conversation. Let's see what else we got in here. Probably got some good.
I will say real quick, I am a huge fan of the fraternity pool parties that they like.
I am as well.
Every frat, but
there is some fun times. You see some stuff that you don't want to see, but it's okay. You end up having a lot of fun. So
the pools are like dirt brown.
Yeah, they're not clean, and they're not nice, and people are wearing the most atrocious shoes known to man. But it's okay. We still have fun. So for our next question, what is something about Greek life that people should know? I think that something people should know is that it really is a very individual experience. And I think people should also know, relating back to recruitment, like, stay true to yourself. I think when I was in recruitment, it was a very interesting process because I was talking to a lot of young women, deciding where they wanted to go, who they wanted to spend their time with, and like what their values, like who it was with. And I saw a lot of girls who unfortunately maybe wanted to go this way or that way, but their friends said, oh, you shouldn't be in that one because it has this stereotype or it does this. And it wasn't even stereotypes that even remotely related to like your safety or anything that like actually matters. Like it was all like, I don't know, just stuff that I don't think really matters at the end of the day. That stuff that won't matter 5 years from now, such as your ranking, which is given by fraternities, by the way. So I had a lot of really interesting conversations, and I was like, my love, I don't want you to base this entire thing, like you're paying money and time to be in a Greek life. Like go somewhere that actually makes you happy. Like I didn't care what the ranking was. I just went somewhere that made me happy. And like personally, I'm very proud and happy with my choice. And I would encourage anyone to keep that same perspective.
Yeah, even though I didn't go through the whole recruitment process, I was back home while all my roommates were recruiting, and they'd call me every single day so upset because a sorority dropped them, or a specific sorority. They said that they were really into one and the girls seemed really into them, and it's just hard being judged. So I totally agree, like staying true to yourself, but I think you also need to understand that at the end of the day, you're trying to join a sisterhood to gather more people that will be behind you and have your back and stuff like that. And don't make it, like, it will be really hard on yourself when you have all these other girls judging you, but don't base it off of other people's opinions, especially other people's opinions about rankings and stereotype, because at the end of the day, it's who you feel the best with. And even my roommates who might not have been their top choice, the sorority that they ended up in, they still found the nicest people, and they still have the great group of friends that they would have never had if they hadn't given it a chance, because they didn't believe it was the highest sorority they could get into or the best like social status that they thought that they could do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you find your friendship, you find your people, you find people who align with your values. Like that's what I liked about my girls, that they aligned with my values. And I knew so little about Greek life going into it. Like some people really do research on this beforehand. I did none. I didn't even think I really wanted to be a part of one, period. I didn't know if it was my thing because, I mean, naively, I did kind of believe the stereotype that you see in movies, and I was like, they're like mean, they're rude, they're dumb, they're gonna make me do stuff that I don't wanna do, and I don't wanna be a part of that. But once I found my girls, because I'm in Chi Omega, and so at the University of Miami, it's the Upsilon Delta chapter, and I found my girls, and I found that they so much aligned with my values, that I was like, wow, like, I really am glad that I kept such an open mind, because I found a group of people that have become some of my best friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's so refreshing to hear that. I mean,
yeah, I'm proud of my choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your turn, girl.
All right, let's get on to the next question. It's being fun. Okay. So this one's for me. What is the perspective as someone not in it? So as I mentioned, I'm not in a sorority, but I am part of the club beach volleyball team and indoor team. And so not in a sorority, I do still happen to go out and mix with the fraternities quite often because of the girls on my team that are in sororities. It's kind of like been a separate sorority in itself. So I would say that people not in sororities, you could find clubs and stuff like that and have those older girls that act as mentors. And that's part of why we wanted to start this podcast, because we've had those people in our lives. So the older girls on the team kind of act as like big sisters for me in a way that a sorority would, especially if you do club sports or you plan on doing club sports at whatever college you go to. But overall, I haven't really regretted my decision. I have so much joy for people that do it and absolutely love it, but I feel that especially for schools such as the University of Miami, it hasn't been the biggest deal to not be a part of it, and I've still found ways to find other people, but that has mainly been through the clubs I've been involved with and the people I met in the classes and stuff like that who have kind of just shown me a way to explore the University of Miami, go out in town, like even just like JJ and I actually met through youth sports on campus, another club, and just finding people that are genuine and like have the advice to give me and just help me out.
Yeah, and that's been so nice. And that's such a nice part of it, is like finding friendships in different areas, and like that is one thing that I will say I actually did really like about joining a sorority, because even though we did find each other all through the same organization, like it's very diverse and there's very different, like there's many different groups of people, and that's one thing I definitely want to emphasize, is that there are certain sororities like mine that are very diverse, and in terms of interests, race, a bunch of other factors. And something that I told a lot of girls during recruitment is when they didn't want to have an open mind, I told them about mine. I told them, look, we're a very diverse group of women. The world is not necessarily ready for that. Some people aren't prepared for that. Some people don't like that, and that's fine. You don't necessarily have to like it, but like I'm proud of my choice either way, and I found a lot of really great people. And even outside of my sorority, I found people like you, so I found even more great people. And I have to note that you are a fantastic beach volleyball player, so I'm glad you shouted that out, because it gave me a minute to boast about you real quick.
Yeah, that's been like my second family here at Miami, and it means a lot. But I'm so excited I met you, and just to like do this stuff and give these podcasts, because a lot of the things that I've been able to kind of navigate college life has been meeting people and kind of finding, that's the reason for the podcast, just giving advice and just having a big sister figure. I have a big sister back home, but just like being here and just being able to have people that can give me advice and stuff has been super helpful in navigating the transition to college life that has been so different from high school.
Yeah, and that's why I think we're a good pairing for this, because, I mean, I don't have a sister. I have two brothers, and there's, like, as I said, there's no textbook on how to go about this whole adulthood thing, especially when you're young, especially you and I have both moved in from out of state. I moved, 18 hours away, over 1,000 miles, like, the university gave me a bunch of resources, sure, but like there still is no way to tell you like, hey, this is how you should go about college, like all the small questions that you don't think you really have, you don't think about certain things. Like, so that's why I think a podcast like this has been a good idea, because people need to hear like our truth. Like they don't need, there's nice that there's resources out there by the university and stuff like that, but like you want to hear it from a first person perspective as someone that's actively in it. And I'm not just trying to promote my university to you. I genuinely want to tell you my experience and like how you can get about this, whether you go to Miami or you don't.
Yeah. I think that's a great point.
Yeah. Let's go on with it.
On to the next question.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. How did you choose your sorority? I gotta say, for my last thing I have to say is that I chose mine because we had similar values. I chose mine because, as I said, I didn't know much about Greek life going into it. And I asked them all the questions that you're not supposed to ask. All the stuff like, do you guys do this? Do you do that? How much do I have to pay? All the stuff that you're told not to ask. I asked it anyways because I wanted the truth. I wanted people to be real with me. You're spending your time and money there. I want someone to be real with me. And I felt that they were, and I felt that that shows a lot of respect, that they respect my time, and they respect me as a person, that they will be honest with me, not just trying to promote them the entire time. And I liked that. I liked people who were real. And so they aligned with my values for that and many other reasons. And I'm overall really, really glad that I've joined it. So
thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first episode of 20's Unfiltered. And we would love to hear more questions that you guys have. We love answering them. We love being here to give you guys advice because we know how hard the transition can be to college life.
Absolutely. Think of us as your big sisters, and we will be streaming more throughout the next episodes on Spotify and YouTube.
So we hope we left you with some laughs and hopefully some good advice you can take home. But thank you so much for listening.
Stay unfiltered, friends.
Bye.